Hey there, incredible English learners. Welcome back to English EdgeX, the podcast where we break through barriers and unlock your true English potential. I'm your host, Emma, and I am beyond excited to talk to you today because we're tackling one of the biggest challenges that holds English learners back from fluency. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone asks you a question in English, and while they're waiting for your answer, your brain is frantically working overtime? You're thinking in your native language, searching for the right words, trying to translate them to English, worrying about grammar, and by the time you've figured out what to say, the conversation has moved on, or that awkward silence has stretched way too long. If you're nodding your head right now, you're not alone. Translation is the invisible prison that traps millions of English learners. It's the exhausting mental gymnastics that makes speaking English feel like running through mud. But here's the incredible news. You can break free from this habit starting today. Not next month. Not when you've learned more vocabulary. Not when you feel ready. Today. I'm going to share the exact strategies I used to stop translating in my head and start thinking directly in English. These methods changed my life, and they've transformed thousands of my students from translators to natural speakers. So get comfortable, grab something to write with, and let's end this translation trap once and for all. Trust me, by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear roadmap to speaking English naturally. Let's dive in. First, let's understand why translation happens and why it's such a massive problem. When you learned your native language as a child, you didn't translate. A dog was just a dog. You heard the word, saw the animal, and made a direct connection. But when you learned English in school, most programs taught you through translation. They showed you a word in English, then immediately gave you the translation in your language. They created a bridge between English and your native language. That bridge seemed helpful at first. It made understanding easier. But here's the problem. That bridge became a permanent roadway in your brain. Now, every time you want to speak English, your thoughts have to travel across that bridge. Your brain goes, native language thought, translate to English, check grammar, speak. That's 3 extra steps before you even open your mouth. No wonder speaking feels slow and exhausting. And here's the brutal truth. As long as you keep translating, you will never be fluent. Never. I don't say that to discourage you. I say it to wake you up to the reality that translation and fluency cannot coexist. Fluent speakers think in the language they're speaking. Their thoughts and words flow together seamlessly. That's what we're going to achieve for you. Now, I need to be honest with you. Breaking the translation habit isn't easy. Your brain has been doing this for years, maybe decades. It's a deeply ingrained pattern. But it is absolutely possible, and it doesn't take as long as you think. I broke my translation habit in about 6 weeks of focused practice. Some of my students did it faster, some took a bit longer. But everyone who committed to the process succeeded. So let's get into the strategies. I have 5 powerful techniques that work together to rewire your brain from translation mode to direct English thinking mode. You don't have to do all 5 at once. Start with 1 or 2, then gradually add the others as they become comfortable. Strategy number 1. Immerse yourself in English from the moment you wake up. And I mean immediate, complete immersion. The second your alarm goes off, start thinking in English. Narrate everything you do in simple English. I'm waking up, I feel tired. I need to turn off the alarm, I'm getting out of bed. My feet touch the floor. It's cold. Yes, this feels weird at first. Yes, your sentences will be simple and sometimes wrong. That's completely fine. You're training your brain to operate in English mode without translating. Throughout your entire day, keep this internal narration going. When you're making breakfast, describe it in English. When you're walking somewhere, narrate what you see. When you're feeling an emotion, name it in English. The key is to think directly in English, not translate your native language thoughts. If you don't know the English word for something, describe it using words you do know, or simply skip it and keep going. The goal is maintaining English thinking, not perfect vocabulary. Do this consistently for 2 weeks, and you'll notice something amazing. English thoughts start appearing naturally without you forcing them. Strategy number 2. Learn vocabulary through images and experiences, never through translation. This is crucial. When you want to learn a new English word, don't look up the translation. Instead, look at images of that word. If you want to learn anxious, don't look up the translation. Search for anxious on Google Images and see pictures of people looking anxious. Read example sentences using that word. Watch a short video where someone talks about feeling anxious. This creates a direct connection between the English word and the concept, bypassing your native language entirely. Your brain learns that anxious equals that specific feeling, not that anxious equals your native language word for that feeling. This is exactly how children learn language, and it's incredibly powerful. For actions and physical things, you can even act them out or point to them. Want to remember stretch? Stand up and stretch while saying the word out loud. Want to remember doorknob? Touch a doorknob and say the word. This multisensory learning creates strong, direct memories that don't require translation. Strategy number 3. Practice with English-only input. This means consuming content only in English, with no subtitles in your native language. Watch English shows with English subtitles or no subtitles. Listen to English podcasts. Read English books. The crucial rule is no translation allowed. When you watch a show in English with subtitles in your native language, you're actually practicing translation. Your brain reads your language and hears English, reinforcing that translation bridge. But when you watch with English subtitles or no subtitles, your brain has no choice but to process information directly in English. Start with content slightly below your level, so you can understand most of it. Kids' shows, simple documentaries, vlogs, or podcasts about topics you already know. As your brain adapts, increase the difficulty. The first few days will be challenging. You'll miss things. You won't understand everything. That's normal and necessary. Your brain is learning to work differently. Strategy number 4. The power of chunking and phrase learning. Instead of learning individual words, learn complete phrases and expressions that native speakers actually use. When you learn chunks of language, you don't need to construct sentences from scratch. You simply recall and use the complete phrase. For example, instead of learning the words do, you, want, and coffee separately, learn the complete phrase, do you want some coffee, as one unit. Your brain stores it as one piece, and when you need it, it comes out automatically without translation or construction. Make a list of 20 common phrases you hear repeatedly. Things like, I'd love to, that sounds good, I'm not sure, what do you think? It depends. That makes sense. I see what you mean. How was your day? I'm looking forward to. That reminds me of. Learn these as complete units. Practice saying them until they become automatic. When these phrases become automatic, you experience direct English thinking for the first time. Someone says, do you want to join us for dinner? And without translating, without thinking about grammar, your mouth automatically responds, I'd love to. Or, that sounds great. That automatic response is the beginning of fluency. Strategy number 5. Daily free speaking practice with the no translation rule. Every single day, spend 10 minutes speaking English out loud to yourself about any topic. With one absolute rule. If you don't know a word in English, you cannot translate it. You must find another way to express it using English words you already know. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Choose a topic, start speaking. When you hit a word you don't know, describe it instead. If you want to say escalator but don't know that word, say the moving stairs in the shopping mall. If you want to say nostalgic but don't know it, say that feeling when you remember the past and feel happy and sad at the same time. This forced paraphrasing is incredibly powerful. It trains your brain to stay in English even when you hit vocabulary gaps. It develops your ability to communicate meaning even without perfect words. And most importantly, it breaks the translation habit because you're proving to yourself that you can express thoughts in English without translating. At first, this exercise will be frustrating. You'll stumble, you'll pause, you'll struggle to describe things. That struggle is exactly what's rewiring your brain. Keep going. After 2 weeks of daily practice, you'll notice describing things in English becomes easier. After a month, you'll catch yourself thinking of multiple ways to express the same idea. That's your brain becoming flexible and creative in English. Now, let's talk about the mental shift that makes all these strategies work. You need to accept imperfection. Translation happens partly because you're trying to say things perfectly. You know exactly what you want to say in your native language, so you try to translate it perfectly to English. But that perfectionism is killing your fluency. Instead, adopt this mindset: communication over perfection. Your goal is not to say things perfectly. Your goal is to express your meaning clearly enough that people understand you. If you make grammar mistakes but communicate your idea, you succeeded. If you use simple words instead of sophisticated vocabulary but get your point across, you succeeded. Native English speakers don't speak perfectly either. They use simple words. They make grammar mistakes. They pause and rephrase things. They say and like constantly. But they communicate effectively, and that's what matters. Give yourself permission to be imperfect, and you'll find that English flows much more naturally. Another important shift: embrace the silence and the pauses. When you stop translating, there will be moments where you need to think about what to say next, and that's okay. A natural pause while you gather your thoughts in English is far better than a long silence while you translate. And here's a secret: native speakers pause too. Conversation has natural rhythm with pauses for thinking. When you feel a pause coming, use filler phrases like, "Let me think," "How can I say this?" "What I mean is," or "In other words." These phrases buy you time while keeping the conversation flowing. They're much better than silence, and they signal that you're thinking, not that you don't know English. Let me share my personal breakthrough moment. I was having a conversation with a native English speaker, and they asked me about my hometown. Normally, I would have thought in my native language about all the beautiful details, then tried to translate them. But this time, I just started talking in English, using simple words I knew, describing things directly without translating. I said something like, "My hometown is small, but very nice. It has many trees and a beautiful river. People there are friendly, and everyone knows everyone. I like it because it's quiet and peaceful." Were these the most sophisticated sentences? No. Did I express everything I felt? No. But I communicated clearly, naturally, and without translation. The person understood me perfectly, and we had a wonderful conversation. That moment showed me that direct English thinking works. You can have that same breakthrough. It starts with making the decision today that you will stop translating. Not reduce translation. Not try to translate less. Stop completely. Every time you catch yourself translating, pause and rethink your sentence directly in English, even if it's simpler. Here's your action plan starting right now. Today, implement strategy 1. From this moment forward, start narrating your actions in English. What are you doing right now? I'm listening to a podcast. I'm learning about English. I'm sitting in my room. I feel motivated. Keep that internal English narration going all day. Tomorrow, add strategy 2. When you encounter a new word, look it up using images and English explanations, never translation. By day 3, implement strategy 3. Switch your content consumption to English only, with English subtitles or no subtitles. By day 5, start using strategy 4. Learning and practicing common phrases as complete units. By day 7, add strategy 5. Your daily 10-minute free speaking practice with no translation allowed. Within 2 weeks of following this plan, you'll notice real changes. Your thinking will start happening in English more often. Within 4 weeks, translation will decrease significantly. Within 6 to 8 weeks, most of your English thinking will be direct, not translated. That's when you'll experience the freedom and joy of natural English speaking. I want you to know that this journey will have hard days. Some days you'll feel like you're making no progress. Some days the old translation habit will creep back in. That's normal. Progress isn't linear. But if you stay consistent with these strategies, the overall trajectory is always upward. Every day of practice, even the difficult ones, is rewiring your brain. And now, as we come to the end of today's episode, I want to send you off with the most heartfelt best wishes for this transformation you're about to experience. I wish you patience with yourself as you break old habits and build new ones. I wish you courage to speak imperfectly while you're learning to think directly in English. I wish you persistence on the days when it feels difficult and progress feels slow. I wish you the incredible moment when you realize you just had an entire thought in English without translating. I wish you the joy of responding to someone quickly and naturally without that exhausting mental translation process. I wish you conversations that flow smoothly because your brain is operating in English mode. I wish you the freedom that comes from not being trapped between two languages in your head. I wish you confidence that grows every day as direct English thinking becomes more natural. I wish you the satisfaction of expressing yourself clearly without the perfect vocabulary. I wish you the realization that you don't need to know every word to communicate effectively. I wish you the pride of knowing you're rewiring your brain and becoming genuinely fluent. I wish you compassion for yourself when you make mistakes, because mistakes are proof of progress. I wish you celebration of small victories, like catching yourself thinking in English automatically. I wish you the support of a community that understands this journey. I wish you opportunities that come from speaking English naturally and confidently. Most of all, I wish you the beautiful experience of living in English, not just studying it. I wish you thoughts that flow directly in English. I wish you dreams where you speak English naturally. I wish you a future where English feels like a natural part of who you are, not something foreign you're trying to master. Thank you so much for being here with me today on English EdgeX. Thank you for trusting me with your English journey. Thank you for being part of this amazing community of dedicated learners. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who's struggling with the translation habit. Let's help each other break free. Remember, the translation trap ends today. Not someday, not when you're more advanced. Today. You have everything you need to start thinking directly in English. You have the strategies. You have the roadmap. Now, you just need to take action. Your natural English-speaking future is waiting for you. It starts the moment you decide to stop translating and start thinking in English. That moment is now. Embrace it. Trust the process. Stay consistent. And watch as your brain transforms from translator to natural English thinker. Until next time, stay committed, stay consistent, and remember that you are capable of thinking and speaking in English naturally. This is Emma from English EdgeX saying, believe in your brain's ability to change, trust the journey, and step into the fluent English speaker you're becoming. Best wishes on your journey to natural English thinking. Now go start that internal English narration and never look back. See you in the next episode. You've absolutely got this.